Sound Lab Studios here, and I'm creating my entry into Bryer's Music Showcases Create Your Own Concept Album Contest. Now, this is a very cool idea for a contest. I'm really glad that he decided to do this because it's really cool. You get to kind of make your own album based off of other existing songs, and there are 3 different prompts. The first one you can either make it just off of an idea or all songs that have the same theme. The second prompt is that you can either create a concept album based off of a movie, so kind of have the songs tell the story of a movie. Or the third option is that you can have a concept album telling your own story. And I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the create your own concept album that tells your own story, option number 3. So, here we go. I'm telling option number 3, tell your own story with existing music. So, I've thought long and hard about what I want to do my concept album about, and I have decided to do a concept album that I've actually thought about making myself, actually. It's just, sometimes whenever you're by yourself and you're just thinking, like, hey, what would be a cool idea for a concept album? And, like, I've actually had this idea. I don't have any music written for it, but I thought, like, if ever one day I want to make an album, like, this is a cool idea. And it's kind of based off of, or more inspired by, The Who's unreleased Lifehouse album, kind of the concepts that are found in there, and B, Rush's 2112 album, as well as a little Hunger Games mixed in. So this is kind of a dystopian album, if you will. It's futuristic, so I'm going to go ahead and I have some notes, so I'm going to pull up my notes and read off of them to make sure that we get the best way to tell this story. Alright, so first off, this album needs a name. The name of this album is Nonconformity, a Revolution Built on Music. And if you can picture for the album cover, picture this rock band on stage. It's taken from behind, so you see like the drummer holding his sticks up, the guitar player like this, the bass player like that, a keyboard player like that, but it's taken from behind. And in the front, you see a bunch of people in the audience cheering, they got their hands up, but then you got these robots pointing their guns straight at the people who are playing the music. And so the audience is cheering, the people are playing their music, but there are these big robots with big guns for hands that are pointing their guns straight at the people. That's the album cover. Alright, now as for the album itself, I'm going to tell a little bit of the story and kind of mix in the story within each of the songs I've selected for this album. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with the prologue I have written. Here we go. Alright, the prologue is, in the year 2100, nuclear fallout from World War III causes most of the known world to be destroyed. The war, which was started between the United States and the new Soviet Republic of Russia, ends in a draw because both countries have been completely eradicated due to nuclear blasts. Most of the population has been killed by the fallout, leaving the world's population at 1/3 of what it was. The lone remaining structure standing is the Ucore Tower, the headquarters of the world's largest company, Ucore. The president of Ucore, Jeffrey McMahon, invested in building his tower out of an experimental alloy that could allegedly survive nuclear blasts, since he was so rich. Following the end of the war, prices of items decreased to practically zero since most of the money in the world was consumed from the fallout. This leads to the value of the dollar becoming exponentially higher and making Jeff McMahon the wealthiest man who ever lived. McMahon used his fortune to rebuild the world. After hiring every survivor on Earth to work for Ucore, he put them to work building cities all over the continent of North America, the only surviving continent, and put his best workers on building the capital city of New Babylon. McMahon's best tech experts were put on reconstructing the internet. Now, the internet was not a place that one visits behind the screen anymore, but a place that one can actually go to via a virtual reality room built into each citizen's home. It's kind of like everything done would be in the internet, schools, restaurants, kind of a place that you can go, and not even with a headset. You just go, and it's kind of built around you, kind of like if you know in Star Trek they have like the holodeck thing. It's kind of like that. McMahon abolished the use of currency and gave the people anything they needed in exchange for their work, regardless of their class. From these cities came the one great nation, with which McMahon put himself in charge as president. For 30 years, there was peace where anyone could go anywhere they wanted and enjoy the new internet within their homes and not have to worry about money. This changed when McMahon made a very important observation. Mankind is basically evil at its roots. He feared that the basic human condition would lead to another war that would wipe out the human race entirely. To prevent this from happening, McMahon first started lying to the citizens, telling them that the fallout had become too strong and that the citizens could not leave their respective cities. The areas outside the cities became known as the wastelands. Later, he lied again, telling the citizens that nuclear fallout was so strong it was too dangerous to even go outside. He had to have his top scientists create biosuits that would protect the people from damage, but he warned that they should only go outside in their biosuits, and in the most extreme circumstances. All business was moved online to the internet, where people could freely explore without the constrictions of the biosuits. Finally, McMahon began rewriting history, teaching in schools that the toxic nature of the air was due to natural causes instead of the fallout, and that people could decrease the natural causes that were causing the world to deteriorate by staying inside. War, hate, and any other negative aspect was rewritten out of history, and anyone who knew the truth and spoke out about it was banished to the wastelands. Media such as books, films, and music that were made before the year 2110 were destroyed and digital files removed from databases since they had promoted unlawful subjects. In the year 2220, nobody knows what truth is. Everything is blindly accepted. Having any emotions other than happiness is illegal. Self-expression is illegal. Music other than what the government creates, TV shows other than what the government creates, anything that is an expression of yourself is illegal. Life happens completely on the internet. The only time anyone leaves their house is in a biosuit, and that doesn't happen very often. People have lost their individuality. Jobs are assigned to a person on their 21st birthday based off of a computer system, and they happen all on the internet, these jobs. McMahon's son, Phil, is now in total control of the world and feeding them propaganda to take away their basic rights to be human. Little do the people know that Phil has just created a microchip that will turn people into robots devoid of all emotion. He's marketed this chip to people as a correction device to make people perfect. Nobody has questioned any of this until now. Alright, now we are getting to the album. Side 1 is called Jonathan's Lament. And here's an introduction to Side 1. 20-year-old Jonathan Mars is on the verge of flunking college. His history essay on how that there must be more to life than the internet has been reported to the One Great Nation police, and he faces banishment to the wastelands. Mars questions if what he's taught in school is real and wants proof. So the first track is 1984 by Van Halen. This is an instrumental track. I put a good rock opera needs an overture. This is an instrumental that clearly states the futuristic vibes of the album. So on this song, Eddie Van Halen wanted to kind of go for a futuristic kind of synthesizer sound. So this is kind of just like an overture to kind of set the mood. Alright, track 2 is Shiny Happy People by REM. Music in the 23rd century is basically propaganda. It's all generated by AI and spreads messages about happiness and everything being great. This is not an actual song from the 23rd century, but rather a picture of what the government is trying to paint society as. Alright, track 3 is The Logical Song by Supertramp. Jonathan questions what he's taught in school. He recalls the sense of wonder he had when he was a child, which has been taken away by corporations and politicians who have forced him to become logical. Track 4 is Give Me Some Truth by John Lennon. Jonathan continues his lament by lashing out at politicians who are forcing their views on him. He is tired of reading propaganda in school and really wants to know what the truth is. And the last track on side 1 is Subdivisions by Rush. Upset about his situation, Jonathan dons his biosuit and wanders around the neighborhood's subdivisions. He notices that society is much like these subdivisions, and that people with the same mindset are grouped together. If you have a different mindset, you're excluded. Conform or be cast out. He also feels that it's difficult to be accepted by his peers because of his different views. Alright, now we get to side 2. Side 2 is called The Truth, and here's the prologue to side 2. Jonathan is turning 21 soon, and the job that he is assigned is a historian, just like his father before him. Jonathan's father takes his son into the basement. He tells Jonathan that as a historian, he'll get to know the truth about history, but he has to keep it safe from everyone else. In the basement garage that his father had never allowed him to go into before, Jonathan now has access to books, films, and most importantly, music to teach him about the past. Okay, so now we're going to get to the actual songs on side 2. Track 1 is Listen to the Music by the Doobie Brothers. Jonathan is upset at the state of the world, and his father confesses that he too would like to see a change. His father now knows about the plan that Phil McMahon has to turn people into robots and suggests, perhaps, that music might be what the world needs to learn the truth. Track 2 is Something by the Beatles. Now you're wondering, what does this have to do with the story? Well, a little background information. Jonathan makes his daily escape in his biosuit. But this time, every day he goes in with a biosuit, but today he's going out without his biosuit since he knows that it's perfectly safe to go outside. He finds his way to the middle wall of New Babylon and finds a way to scale it. Over the wall is the other half of New Babylon that he's never been allowed to go to, where apparently other people live. But on the other side of this wall, people look a lot differently. Jonathan sees one of the people and notices that he kind of likes the way they look, but he doesn't know why. He returns to his father and tells him about what happened, and his father explains the people who live on the other side of the wall are women. He explains about relationship, marriage, and families, which have been outlawed a long time ago. In 2220, men and women are matched up by computers in order to create the best children genetically whenever they are 22. They're only allowed to see each other once a year for mating purposes and can only have 2 children, 1 boy and 1 girl. If it is found that they have more than 2 children, or if they have 2 boys or 2 girls, the illegal child is taken away from them and banished to grow up in the wastelands defenselessly. The boy lives with the father on the right side of the city, and the girl with her mother on the left side. Jonathan visits the women's side of the city every day and sneaks into a house to meet with a girl he met named Wendy, which is the girl he saw in the window. He writes the song Something to win her heart. Alright, now we have track 3, and this is going to be kind of from a band that you're like, really? Why did you include this band? I went with the song In the Garage by Weezer, and you're going to be like, what? Why is Weezer on this list? Because they're like a nerdy rock band. Well, I think it really captures the story perfectly. Weezer may get a bad rep as a band, but this song from their debut album, which was produced by the Cars lead singer Rick Ocasek, and it's actually a really good album. Like, seriously, go check it out. It's got too bad of a rep. It's really good. But it perfectly tells the next part of this story. The song originally talked about enjoying nerdy things that you like to do in the garage whenever nobody's watching, but in the context of this album, it's about how Jonathan is able to freely write songs and enjoy the music of the past without being surveyed by the government. The lyrics say, I have an electric guitar, I write my stupid songs, I write these stupid words, and I love everyone. In the garage where I belong, no one hears me sing this song. Track 4, and here we have several Beatles songs. It's a second Beatles song. I tried to choose just one song, per artist, but the Beatles showed up twice because I love them so much. Track 4 is While My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles. Jonathan writes a song lamenting about the state of the world, and in this song he addresses how people aren't able to unfold their love and how they've been perverted by the system. He says all this is going on while his guitar gently weeps. Alright, now we are going to get to side 3. Side 3 is called The Revolution Begins. Track 1 is Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie. Jonathan finds some friends that he used to game with on the internet and tells them that they can apply their gaming skills to something that's even better. He sneaks them into his house and teaches them how to play instruments, and they become the band Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. The band goes around town playing songs loudly where people can hear them from outside, and then they make their escape back to Jonathan's garage. Track 2 is Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2 by Pink Floyd. This is the song that the band plays for their protests, speaking out about how education is thought control and that everyone is just a brick in the wall of society. Track 3 on side 3 is Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. Jonathan steals his father's motorcycle that was used for historical studies out of the garage and jumps the wall in the middle of town. He takes Wendy on a wild ride outside of town through the wastelands without biosuits, and they realize how the wastelands actually really aren't that bad of a place. And track 4 is Back Talk by Journey. It's a kind of a deep track from the Frontiers album. Honestly, one of my least favorite songs on that album, but I think it perfectly tells this story, or almost perfectly. The opening lyric is, "I work all day to make a living," which is sung by the president, so that would be different. But this is the villain song in the story that's sung by Phil McMahon, the president, and it's him lashing out at Jonathan, saying that he doesn't want any back talk and that Jonathan is a pain to deal with since he hasn't caught him yet. Alright, here we go. Side 4, the big concert, is what I'm calling this side. And the background information is, Jonathan broadcasts a radio signal to the internet telling people that it's okay to leave their houses. He invites them to a concert held in the wastelands just outside of town the following evening, where he will reveal to them the truth about their lives. He also plays them a few seconds of some of his music to show them how to express themselves in ways other than happiness all the time. So the first track, here's another exception. I already had a song by Rush, but I'm going with Tom Sawyer by Rush. It's the first song that they play at their concert, where Jonathan tells the people to be free thinkers and not let their minds be up for rent, and don't put them down as arrogant. Track 2 is Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. This song is all about change and revolution, and it's the big finale of the concert. After the concert, Jonathan tells everyone the truth and that the first step in creating a better society is to turn off the internet. The people turn on him and turn him into the government because they don't want the internet to go away. Because sometimes it's easier to live a comfortable lie than face the difficult truth. Track 3 is Renegade by Styx. Jonathan writes a song to the mother that he never knew from jail as he faces either execution or banishment. And the final song on the album, track 4, side 4, is Something in the Way by Nirvana. Jonathan is banished to the wastelands with nothing but the clothes he has on and the acoustic guitar that he learned how to play on. This song is him writing a song in the wastelands about his sad situation being banished. Jonathan would rather live his remaining days in the wastelands and know the truth rather than live in the city under the lies of Eucor. And that is the end of my album. I'm really glad that you guys decided to watch. I know that some of the lyrics on this don't exactly fit the story, but maybe I should actually try writing this album with actual music and not songs that already exist. I think that would be really cool, but I'm really glad that you guys got to hear this because I'm excited to just share some of the thoughts I have about this album. Really fun making it, really fun just brainstorming and thinking up cool ideas. But Bryer, I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you enjoy my submission into your contest.